Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Bouncing Back with Brighton. In today's episode we have the final two games of the league season against Bristol City and against Burnley. We are still in the hunt for European qualification, so it all rests on today. It's been two fixtures since we played since the last time we met, and Brighton won 1-0 against Bournemouth. Alvarado gave us the lead inside 8 minutes and we managed to hang on. Begovic having man of the match performance for Bournemouth, so you can see how things went. But we got the 3 points and that was the key thing. Bournemouth were in, I think they were 9th or 10th when we played them, so it was a very big game for us. And in the other game, we unfortunately got beat 2-1 at home against Manchester United. Dybala gave them the lead. Rashford doubled that. Anthony Knockaert came on in the attacking midfield centre and got himself a goal later on to give us the slightest glimmer of hope in what was a pretty tight game. And in terms of the Premier League table, this is how things stand. We are on 55 points, 6 points away from Chelsea in 6th, but we're only 1 point away from Leicester in 7th, which is where we are aiming for. Of course, 7th does not guarantee European football, but we'll take a quick look at the other cup competitions. So the FA Cup is going to go to Chelsea or Arsenal in terms of the final. Does that open up a European spot if one of them wins? I think it does. In terms of the League Cup, Manchester City beats Southampton. I just don't know. I think 7th will get European football. So for today's lineup in the first game away from home against Bristol City, this is how we're going to line up. Butland in goal, Tavares, Souttar, Alvarez and Julio in the defence, Baluta and Bulat in the centre. Alvarado will be playing on the right hand side as the inside forward with Gravenberch and Doku in the other spots. Romoli will of course lead the line. So they come as with a 4-2-3-1. Bristol City, I don't think they're in the relegation spots. We'll just quickly take a look. Well, we'll take a look in just a minute. We have kicked off. We are shooting from right to left in this first half. Again, we really could do with getting 2 wins in today's games. Obviously, away from home against Bristol, you would imagine we could do that, although it wouldn't be the biggest surprise if we didn't. Bristol are currently sitting in 14th position, well clear of the relegation zone, so they should be okay, and hopefully their players just go to the beach. And then the other game is against Burnley, who are rock bottom. We were one of their 3 wins, unfortunately, as Gravenberch goes for goal. His 7th goal of the season. Set pieces have been key for us this season, and Gravenberch has just got a direct one. That is a crazy angle to score from, but he's managed to do it. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Highlight straight after the goal owns Bristol with the corner. It gets out Solly March, our old guy, is currently in there for Bristol City. They take the strike. Solly March, why did I say his name? Don't acknowledge people, Sam. This is what happens. Solly March gets Bristol level. I think about 2 minutes after we took ourselves in front. It all came from a corner that we failed to clear. And Malambi takes a strike, it falls to March, and that was a great finish, let's be honest. Gravenberch with another free kick. Come on, son. Oh, Marchesen with the save this time. That would have been absolutely fantastic. Highlights are coming thick and fast, and Bristol, well, they give the ball away. Alvarado heads it on to Romoli after Souttar punted it up. Romoli gives the ball away to Congolo, but unfortunately we regain possession. Some nice play through the centre by Gravenberch and Doku. Falls to Romoli. Julio's on the left hand side. Back to Doku. That is a penalty, ref. We don't need it. We don't need it, ref. Ignore that. Roberto Alvarado, his 10th goal of the season. He's doing well playing on that right hand side, and I am training him to become a natural there. But this was definitely a penalty. Julio played the ball in. Doku to Bulat. What a sliding challenge. He took half his teammates out, which was good for us, so they couldn't get the block in. And Alvarado, with the assist from Jeremy Doku, the wingers combine and once again puts us 2-1 up. And that's going to be it for the first half. We go in 2-1 up. Let's just hope we can hold on to it. Nothing to change right now. Bristol haven't really offered too much going forward apart from their goal, which is unfortunate. So we'll just see how things go. Highlight now on this right hand side of a throw in from an advanced position for us, but we give the ball away. Alvarez with the ball over the top for Doku. It's managed to clear by Fredericks, and Julio comes in though and nicks in. Alvarado's back post once more. It didn't ever look likely from that angle. 25 minutes to go. There is another highlight, and Bristol are currently in possession. He plays the ball over the top for Malambi. He's got people back post. He did not need them. That is a cool, calm and collected finish. Of course it's his first goal of the season. Of course it is. But that comes from our throw-in. We give the ball away, as always happens on Football Manager. And Malambi, I thought he was going to play a back post for the man in space, but that is a very tidy finish, and Jack Butland was left flat-footed, expecting the shot at his near post. We are going to get Tavares off for Bogle. Any of the other changes, Romoli's not having the greatest game, but we haven't got Jovalic is injured for the rest of the season, unfortunately. We could get Alvarado on the left-hand side, take Doku off and put Harry Wilson on that right-hand side. Maybe his spell on the bench might mean he might come back into form. And we pick up with the highlight here with 20 minutes to go. Alvarado on the left-hand side this time. Gravenberch with the ball in the centre. Romoli. He's got overlapping Julio. Come on, man. Gravenberch from the edge. Gravenberch, you are a genius, my son. His 8th goal of the season. Assist by Roberto Alvarado. And he has single-handedly pulled us out of this game with the free kick and this absolutely wonderful strike from the edge. We seem to have scored quite a lot of these this season. But that's up there with the best of them. 9 minutes to go, and we give the ball away from a throw-in once again, and Malambi's in behind. Not again. What a good challenge that was by Alvarez to get back. And maybe we can counter here with Harry Wilson coming down the right-hand side. Romoli's making the run. He tries to find it, but it falls to Gravenberch, who goes with it for his left foot, trying to get his hat-trick, but he could not do it on this occasion. I'd rather just not have any throw-ins, to be honest with you. That wouldn't be too bad. Gravenberch is on his hat-trick, so I am going to keep him on, actually. We haven't really got many options off the bench, though, to be honest. Anthony Notyard could come on for Gravenberch. He's on a yellow card as well. We're going to get McAllister on for Gravenberch. He'll probably be a bit disappointed going off when he's on his hat-trick. So hopefully he doesn't come back and bite us in the bum. And there we are, full-time. Bristol City 2, Brighton 3. A really, really well-fought 3 points. Now all we have to do is beat Burnley at home, who are currently bottom of the league. Actually, we need more than that. We need Leicester City to drop points as well. They defeated Watford. In terms of their schedule, who they got final game of the season, Liverpool away from home. That is a very difficult game for them. We will take a look at the Premier League table. So we are 1 point behind Leicester. Assuming we win, we need them to not win against Liverpool, who's sitting 4th. And it is a key game for Liverpool. They are by no means guaranteed Champions League football. They're on the same points with the same amount of games played as Spurs. So it could be vital for both teams. So hopefully Liverpool are playing at their top spot. Right, so we're back for today's game against Burnley. Looking at the league table, Liverpool really do need a win against Leicester City to keep their hopes of qualifying for the Champions League alive. They do have a game in hand over Spurs, who are only 1 point ahead of them, but it should mean that they play at their best. Leicester City are away from home. But all that matters is that we beat Burnley today. That's all we can do in terms of trying to get our place in the European qualification spots. In terms of the lineup for today's game, Butland will be in goal, Tavares, Suter, Alvarez and Julio in the defence, Baluta and Bulat in the centre, Alvarado, Gravenberch, Doku in the attacking midfield positions, and Romoli leading the line. I think that is exactly the same as the last game. 4-1-2-3 DM wide, playing by Burnley. Listen, Burnley smashed us last time, but they are bottom of the league, relegated, just in disarray. Now come on boys, let's avenge the last game. Highlight already, Alvarado with the corner, Romoli's back post, and he puts his header just wide. Another highlight, 7 minutes in, Alvarado set away by Gravenberch, he puts Doku through in goal, and Tom Heaton, and what a save that was. Gravenberch here coming down the left hand side, he gives the ball away though, and Burnley can probably clear from this point. The ball does find its way back to Gravenberch though after a clearance, and Alvarado's back post, and as long as there's no offside flag, which, he's going for a closer look, come on ref, just give the goal. And he's give it. There we are. Suter with a big header from the clearance. Bulat to Gravenberch, who goes down the left-hand side, gets a decent ball in. It's almost cleared by the Burnley defender, but Alvarado gets another goal coming in from that right-hand side to give us the lead. And as things stand, we would rise to 7th position. I believe Liverpool and Leicester are still drawn. Let's get on to the latest scores when we can. Gravenberch with a free kick here. Suter's back post, good save by Tom Heaton. Keaton, Burnley in it. Stick with the corner though. Alvarado plays it in. It's cleared by Sissoko. And Bulat keeps the ball alive. It's probably going to lead to nothing. There we are. Half time, Liverpool and Leicester is 0-0. Injuries all around though. So I guess that's something. We'll kick off for the second half. No changes required from us. We are doing incredibly well. And we probably should be a couple of more goals to the good. As long as we don't concede, we're laughing. And Leicester have went 1-0 up. Andrea Bellotti has given Liverpool the lead. Leicester went 1-0 down. Bellotti giving Liverpool the lead, which is fantastic news for us. We'll take a look at the league table, and that would see us finish 2 points above Leicester with only 20 minutes to go in this match. We'll look to make some changes. Sergio Reguilón is probably an upgrade on Carlos Julio, so getting him off for him is not a big deal. Gravenberch is always one of the ones who's struggling towards the end of the game. Will get Nokia on in that attack midfield role. He did get a goal against Manchester United when he came on in that position. Highlight, Tider with the free kick. Butland manages to keep it out. Falls to Moreno. Please. He's offside. We're going to go on a balanced there. If we were to draw this game, I think we would still finish 7th based on Leicester getting beat due to a superior goal difference, but it won't matter. There is the full-time whistle. Brighton 1, Burnley 0. A not so convincing win, but we'll take it anyway. And I think that's give us European football. It has. We have qualified for Europe. Where do we enter? Do we enter in the group stage qualifying rounds? I don't really care. We'll see that next season. But in our first season back in the Premier League, finishing in 7th position and getting that European football is massive. So we're going to play on a little bit as it is the end of the season and see what messages sort of come through. The first of which has made me incredibly happy. Our wage budget is set at £1.2 million, which I think is around £250,000 available for us to play with, and a £75 million transfer budget. Absolutely lovely stuff. So we're at the end of season awards. The fan player of the season does go to Harry Wilson. He had a very good first half of the season, a very quiet second half of the season, but he does deserve it. I think he ended up with 10 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League in 25 starts. He did have a little bit of an injury during I think it was the January period when it happened. So a little bit disappointing setting off, but he was a fantastic loan signing. Of course, he won't be here next season. Sutok came second. Tudor Baluta came third. Marco Burlat came goal of the season. We'll have a look at that in a second. He was also the signing of the season. £6 million he came in for in the January transfer window. He's a very talented player, classed as a wonder kid, 3-star current, 5-star potential. Hopefully he will continue to grow as next season comes around. And young player of the season was Harry Wilson. He must have been 23 when the season started. So we'll take a look at this goal against Newcastle. I can't remember if we're seeing this. We did say this. This was the 6-0, wasn't it? Hayden gets challenged by Harry Wilson. This was definitely a foul, by the way. And then it goes out to the edge. Bulat with a fantastic strike. Top bins. I would have put Gravenberch's free kick above that and just in, was it the last episode or this episode? Can't even remember, but fantastic goal nonetheless. Our season in review. Scarce few pundits will have been brave enough to pluck Brighton from mid-table obscurity, but we've managed to qualify for European competition. Definitely a feel-good story. We did rise to 6th place at one point, but we ended up finishing 7th. Lost in the 5th round of the FA Cup against Spurs and the 3rd round against Brentford. Match of the season was our 2-1 against Bournemouth. What about our 6-0 against Newcastle? I would say that's probably a little bit better. In the moment to forget was, of course, the 4-0 away defeat to bottom of the table, Burnley. Our average attendance is pretty much full. Might be an angle to try and ask for an extended stadium. And we used 26 players over the course of the season. In terms of the end of season team meeting, I think it's probably safe to see Europe Cup. Let's see how they react to that. They don't think we are good enough, so I'm going to drop that down to top half finish, and they've actually reacted well to that. I never know when to trust these arrows or not, but we'll take it. In terms of the squad and how I see it shaping up next season, there will of course be major changes once again. I've got to be mindful of the foreign player rule. I think I can only have 17 or 18, I can't remember which, foreign players in my first team squad. And to be honest with you, we've already got 2 coming in that we're going to have to look at. So in terms of the recruitment, it will have a very British slant on it. I will be looking to sign those players, if not loan them in to pad out the squad as I have with, well, as the plan was with Harry Wilson and Chowdhury. It might be the sort of signs I have to make again just to meet the squad registration rules. In terms of where I really see the need for improvement, centre-back, not so much as in the first team, but in terms of cover, we only have Oscar Cabezas and we did have Makudi, who's left the club. So we will have to look in that area. Left back and right back I'm completely content with. In terms of backup goalkeeper, we will have to look for a new one. Christian Walton, I think he's leaving the club unless he wants to sign he does want to sign a new deal. I'm going to sign him on a new deal purely because he's English and if he wants to stay, that's absolutely fine by me if he's happy with his role. Tudor Baluta in defensive midfield is not somewhere I'm pushing to replace, but if there is a wonder kid show up to potentially take his spot, it's going to have to be something we'll consider. He's now a 3.5 star, current 4-star potential player, so he's pretty much maxing out in terms of his stats, and he is a good player, but he's sort of middle of the road good Premier League player. So I'm not looking to sell him, but I wouldn't mind at the very least getting an understudy who has the potential to grow. We've already spoken about Bulat, he's been fantastic. Alvarado might find his opportunities a bit more limited based on the signings that are coming in. He is obviously, he's probably the best player to play on that left-hand side, but we've got Jeremy Doku, who's at only 18 years old, did okay when he came in, and I want to give him game time. So Alvarado might find himself becoming a bit of a backup to both wing sides. Ryan Gravenberch, no need to talk about him. Alan Romoli, I think he needs some competition up top. He scored 14 goals in 32 games, which is not too bad in his first season in the Premier League, but I've already signed someone to give him some competition. In terms of the rest, everybody else is open to negotiation. Sergio Reguilon might be one who might want to leave. He's good enough. He's more than good enough to be our first choice left back. But with Carlos Julio, I want to give him the game time, so he might end up kicking up off us at some point. The likes of Nokiart and things like that, I don't mind letting them leave. Bissouma, a lot of the players who were still here when we first came in are more than free to leave. The likes of Jose Izquierdo is already leaving the club. He's joining Montreal Impact in the summer alongside Mark Montoya, who's joining Karabag. So there will be a lot of incomings and outgoings. A lot of our incomings will be focusing on the youth players. Trying to sign those cheap players with high potential will be key. And again, looking for English or British players to bring into this squad so I can meet the registration rules. But anyway, that's going to be enough for me. If you have enjoyed today's video, please consider leave a like. And God, I just can't speak right now. And if you have enjoyed today's video, get yourself subscribed. But until next time, take it easy.